Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Thomas Andres. Today we're going to be talking about a brand new Canon camera, the Canon EOS Rebel T6S camera that I have right here. It is an absolutely amazing camera. Recently had an amazing opportunity to bring this bad boy out and take some epic pictures with it. So let's talk about the basics. So this camera features the Digic 6 chip, which is a brand new step forward for Canon from the previous chip. And we also have 24.2 megapixels, which is absolutely amazing for pictures. So this camera was released in 2015, which makes it relatively new. And it's a great comparison to the currently renowned 70D. So let's take this camera out and see what this bad boy can do. Let's go. T6S is a great camera all around. I've had great experience getting many great pictures and even videos with the camera. So let's talk about weight. So the camera is fairly light, although it actually is 1 pound heavier than the T6i, its predecessor. This camera weighs 2.3 pounds, which, you can still hold, it's not too bad. Let's talk about ISO. So we have ISO going from 100 to 25,600. That's great ISO, but the ISO isn't pretty much usable after like 12,000, so you don't really want to be using 25,600 ISO, although it might be a great feature for when you want it. So now let's talk about the grip. The camera's grip is actually nice. It's really nice. Your hand cups it perfectly, and it's absolutely great, very firm. And the camera feels very sturdy. It does not feel cheap at all. It feels like a great camera. And that extra weight actually adds a little bit more of a professional feel to it and more stability when holding and when shooting. If you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. Let's see what happens next. The camera features some really nice things when taking pictures. One of the nice things is that you can shoot RAW in this camera as CR2, and you can shoot JPEG. One of the new features is that in the viewfinder, you can shoot continuously at 4.8 frames per second. That's really impressive. Also, you have really fast shooting when you're trying to shoot in burst mode. Let's talk about the viewfinder itself. So, the viewfinder is really nice. It comes out here, comes out to the side, it tilts this way, goes back, you can even go down a little bit. And the viewfinder, it's great. You can even tilt it this way, put it back into the camera if you wish. And it's absolutely amazing like that, because when you're shooting those scenes, when you need to look down on your camera, you can always do this, and your viewfinder will be really nice. So what I actually did to this camera, I added a lens hood, because this will actually make the pictures have seemingly more dynamic range, and this will make the camera's pictures look way more impressive, including the videos. The camera is also very impressive when taking video. That's one of the main reasons I actually bought it. What I have in this camera is you can shoot in 1080p at 30 frames per second, but one of the bad things is that as you go up in frame rates, when you want to shoot 60 frames per second, it's only 720p, which isn't really good for modern standards. Another cool feature that this camera has is the HDR shooting. This gives a great dynamic range and adds a lot to your images. Another feature that we have is the stabilizer, or sort of like a level that comes into the camera. So let me show you. So what we have here, when you go level, it turns green, and that's exactly what we want when we're shooting continuously like this, and we don't want our footage to be off balance. Another bad thing that we have is that we can't monitor the audio while we're recording in video mode. This is something that pretty much all videographers want to do, but usually you're not going to be using the onboard mic. You're going to be using an external mic like a Rode VideoMic Pro. So then you can hook up a little system where you can have headphones going in and sort of like a buffer sending the audio to the Rode VideoMic and into your camera to synchronize it very well. So let's talk a little bit more about our tilt swivel display. So in this display, it's 3 inches and we have about 3 million dots, which make it very clear. We can see everything in this little display. Let's talk about our viewfinder right now. You know, it's relatively standard as in all cameras. You usually have the same kind of viewfinder with the little adjustment for correction. And you know, when you put your eye up to it, it looks really good. The only issue is that the coverage is 95%, which is not good because usually what you would like in a viewfinder would be 100%, but I can still do with 95% as it's not too much of a difference to make a real change. Now let's talk about the included kit lens that comes with this camera. It's a really nice lens, one of the better lenses. As you saw in my last review, we had the 1855 lens and it didn't have a stepper motor. This one is an 1855 STM lens, f3.5 and so on. It's a really nice lens. It comes with more of the high-end cameras that come under $1,000 or up to $1,500 in the Canon range. It's a really good lens. It has some decent zoom. You can't zoom in that far, but it's good enough. And it even has image stabilization. Image stabilization is actually a great feature to have in your camera because when you're walking around sort of doing some run and gun stuff like this, you know, usually what you have, if I had my T6 for example, what would happen is that the footage would actually be very shaky. In this one, you have the little, let me just show you real quick, we have the stabilizer button which we can toggle on and off. And what happens here is that when we sort of move around and we try to take the different videos, we get like a nice smooth motion instead of that really rough shakiness that was really bad in the T6 I found. Another nice feature that sort of cascades down from the 70D higher end there is this, the top deck display. It's a really nice display. You can light it up at night if you need to see it. Shows you some important information like ISO, other things, and it's a nice feature to have. Another cool thing is that the battery life on this camera is actually really good. It's rated at 440 shots, which is quite a lot. And you know, I tried it out and it turns out that it's even more, so looks like this, you can do way more with the camera. And in terms of video, if you're constantly shooting video, you can shoot 1 hour and 20 minutes of video uninterrupted. And interrupted, of course, it will be longer since you're shooting with intervals there. Another one of the fantastic features in this camera that cascades down from the 70D once again is the 19-point hybrid autofocus system. This system is absolutely fantastic, little to no hunting when recording, and it's absolutely amazing. When I tried shooting today, I was going like this and I was moving around and it was very fast, very accurate when I was autofocusing. And it was, you know, there were no problems while shooting. So I'm very impressed for this low price. You know, it's a great autofocus system and I will be talking about the price in just a moment. So another great thing about the camera, a lot of great things, is that it actually has built-in Wi-Fi and NFC for sharing your images and storing them on a computer. I use this feature quite a bit, but personally I prefer to just take out the SD card, which is in its own little slot at the side here. So let's talk about the price. The price for this camera, for the body only, around $700 Canadian. Now in terms of the actual kit, we have around a little bit more, around $1,000. That's how much it'll set you back. So the kit actually costs $350 more than the T6i, its predecessor. Price range isn't that much of a difference, but it can make a change in your wallet. You could go with the T6i, but personally I prefer the T6s since it has a bunch of great features that they added. So that's it for the review. If you guys enjoyed the review, hit that like button and consider subscribing. I have left a link down in the description below on Amazon for the camera if you would like to buy it. Personally, I find it to be a great camera. I've used it for a while now. Absolutely incredible, great pictures, great video, great camera. See you guys later.